What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So we're gonna check out why CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is best for business. Their feud right now is legitimately turning out to be WWE's biggest feud of the year. It's definitely gonna be feud of the summer. And the crazy thing about this wasn't even part of the plan. It's all because Drew McIntyre accidentally injured CM Punk. And they turned this into something that honestly, it's helping Drew McIntyre and is creating more hype for CM Punk when he is able to return back from injury. It's playing into Drew McIntyre's new character, and I love it. And it's great. We're literally in one of the better feuds WWE has produced in a while, and they haven't even thrown a punch at each other essentially since like right around the Royal Rumble time. They've been kind of talking their shit, especially Drew McIntyre. He's been killing it on social media, and I just love what they're doing with CM Punk. Not saying anything, but you know it's going to cost Drew once again. So we're gonna check this out. Appreciate all of them support you guys have shown on the channel. Let's get right into this one, man.
Caused all of this was that prick CM Punk. I took my eyes off of you. You sweeped my legs, took off that metal brace, and bashed me in the face. But then that
So good.
bondage Undertaker Damian Priest screwed it all up.
CM Punk has cost Drew McIntyre a lot. The epic feud has only been going on for 2 months now, but it feels like there's a whole lot of money to be made from it in 2024. In case you've been living under a rock, CM Punk attacked Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 40, directly leading to Damian Priest successfully cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. And on Raw after WrestleMania, he distracted Drew McIntyre to help Jey Uso become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. So why exactly was CM Punk costing Drew McIntyre twice best for business? Let's take a deeper dive. The two men have been on completely different career paths. They aren't parallel, and they're hardly similar at all. If anything, the only thing they have in common is the fact that their runs in WWE overlapped for a few years between 2010 and 2014, the year both were done with their first stints with the company. Despite the lack of commonality, they're now embroiled in a rivalry that could possibly become the wrestling feud of the year. Their story only began in late January of 2024 at the Royal Rumble. The final four of this year's men's Royal Rumble match featured Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, and CM Punk. While Cody took Gunther out for the second year in a row, Drew McIntyre was eliminated by none other than CM Punk. But for CM Punk, it came at a big cost. His first WrestleMania main event. Cody would go on to win the match by eliminating CM Punk, but the best in the world had his right tricep torn thanks to McIntyre. Punk was rumored to be headlining night 1 of WrestleMania 40 against Seth Rollins, but that wasn't meant to be due to the tricep injury that now required surgery. As Punk entered the operating room, Drew McIntyre left no stone unturned when it came to mocking him. He took pride in the fact that he injured CM Punk to the extent that he did, and it perfectly aligned with the villainous character that he quickly settled into.
So good.
McIntyre had already been a bad guy for a couple of months now, but he took it to a whole new level with the CM Punk ordeal. He used the situation.
Here's the thing about just Drew. He's not even just a normal bad guy. He can operate as a tweener because the stuff that he says, you understand. It's just he becomes a hypocrite, and that's what makes it work. Because the things that he has been griping about and complaining about, it makes sense. But at the same time, he's a hypocrite. So it works. You can buy into what he's saying, but also understand that he's full of shit at the same time. Like, it works. So he essentially is a bad guy, a heel, but at the same time, he has some tendencies where it's like, you know what? I can buy into it. And plus, he's been killing it. He's hit this version of Drew is honestly the best version we've seen in WWE. That's just my opinion, because he's killing it, bro. He has become the best part, the best promo in WWE right now. It's really fantastic.
To get heat for himself, and he couldn't keep CM Punk's name out of his mouth. While McIntyre was busy posting memes on social media taking shots at Punk, Punk himself chose a different approach, staying quiet for the most part.
Nothing.
While Punk didn't speak up too much, he made sure that whenever he did open his mouth, that there was real deal impact whenever he fired his shots. Drew McIntyre's approach to social media helped keep himself relevant in a big way. In fact, nobody on the entire WWE roster, not even The Rock, used social media to generate buzz the way that Drew McIntyre did. He was red hot. And it was no surprise that after Punk's injury, he was the first choice to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania. It's even more impressive when you consider that Drew McIntyre had already lost to Seth Rollins twice in 2 months, once at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia in November 2023, and once on the Day 1 edition of Raw this year. While Punk had some time to respond in the build-up to WrestleMania, it really culminated at WrestleMania Sunday itself. After Drew McIntyre predictably defeated a beaten down Seth Rollins to become the World Heavyweight Champion, he finally got his moment to celebrate a World Championship victory in front of fans, a moment that was 4 years in the making. It wasn't enough for him though, and after his win, he went to CM Punk on commentary and stood on the table to rub salt in the wound. That was supposed to be CM Punk, but it was Drew McIntyre holding the title instead. But in a poetic...
And this is so good. This is why it's going to happen again at Clash at the Castle, because he's doing it again. I've seen the social media antics. He's over here. He's trying to make fun of CM Punk. He's going to lose focus. CM Punk, once again, has not said anything, but he's made it clear since the last time we saw him, he's going to make Drew McIntyre's life a living hell. And if y'all think that Drew's going to have his grand moment, because they're setting it up like Drew's going to have this fantastic moment, it's going to be great, he's going to walk out Clash at the Castle champ, he's going to lose. For that one night at Clash at the Castle in Scotland, CM Punk's going to be the biggest heel, because he's going, I do believe, because of Drew still pushing him and still saying some stuff and still egging him on, he's going to lose because of CM Punk. CM Punk's going to screw him out of the title at his home, in his hometown. He's going to screw him out of it. And we're going to get a Drew McIntyre he's gonna crash out, and it's going to be fantastic, because that's what CM Punk wants. He wants Drew to crash out.
Moment, CM Punk decided to launch an assault on McIntyre and took him out, giving Damian Priest the perfect opportunity to finally cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase successfully. And just like that, Damian Priest pinned Drew McIntyre to become only the second world champion of Puerto Rican descent in WWE history. Awesome. He also became only the second man to cash in the Money in the Bank briefcase at WrestleMania. As you know, the first person to do it was the man McIntyre beat, Seth freaking Rollins.
And that's why all of this is so poetic, bro. This is all poetic, bro. It's you would think this is long-term booking at its finest, bro.
From being called a fool for not being able to cash in his briefcase, Damian Priest instantly turned into the most calculating man in WWE, timing his cash in perfectly. As if it wasn't poetic enough, Drew McIntyre's obsession with CM Punk cost him the World Heavyweight Championship. But 24 hours later, it was gonna get worse for him. The next night on the Raw after WrestleMania, Drew McIntyre was scheduled for the main event, where a fatal four-way between him, Ricochet, Bronson Reed, and Jey Uso would determine Damian Priest's challenger for the World Heavyweight Championship. McIntyre was perfectly positioned to finish Jey Uso and pin him for the 9th time in 5 months, but seemingly out of nowhere, this was another brilliant bit of storytelling.
So
not only did Drew McIntyre's hated rival CM Punk cost him again, but Jey Uso, the man whom McIntyre has hated with a vengeance for 2 years now, pinned him to earn a world championship opportunity. What makes this whole feud between Punk and McIntyre even more impressive is the fact that Punk hasn't even had a match since it began.
That's the crate. This is what makes this good. They haven't even essentially had a match with each other. He hasn't really essentially had a match outside of, the Royal Rumble situation. This is just, it's good storytelling. It's good pacing. And like I said, hopefully if the cards align, we get them to have a match. And honestly, it needs to be a Hell in a Cell, bro. I know sometimes people say Hell in a Cell, it should be, after a series of matches. I would be okay with this being the situation, the one time that they have a Hell in a Cell match and there was no matches prior to, because it's gotten that personal. Drew injured CM Punk. Drew is the reason CM Punk didn't have his WrestleMania main event. It's one of the reasons why he came back. Now CM Punk has cost Drew the championship, and most likely he's going to cost him the championship again at Clash at the Castle in his hometown. It's not gonna be a match. Doesn't matter what the referee do. It's not gonna be a match. And so hopefully what they should do is it should be nothing but chaos. It should get to the point where officials can't stop them, and Adam Pearce has to make a match like, yo, okay, y'all can't be stopped. Y'all not gonna have a match. Like, they should set it up as a match potentially at SummerSlam, whatever the case is. And then it gets to the point weeks leading up, like every time they see each other, they have to be separated. They're destroying the show. They're disrupting the show. It needs to be some sort of like Hell in a Cell or something. Something to that extent. So we'll see if that happens though.
Story that's been crafted so well that it's managed to drum up interest even when everybody knows that their first match against each other is probably going to be a few months from now. Assuming we follow the timeline of CM Punk's return, he should be cleared for in-ring action around July. The fact that Clash at the Castle takes place in Scotland makes it the perfect place for Drew McIntyre to win the World Heavyweight Championship back. The next couple of months are going to be incredible. The potential for character growth, specifically for Drew McIntyre, is immense. We hope he has a complete breakdown and goes berserk, wreaking havoc on Monday Night Raw. It says a lot that fans are still so invested in him after the back-to-back defeats he suffered at WrestleMania and the Raw after. It's a storyline of the year candidate, and we're only 1/3 into the year. WWE can take two routes with this CM Punk-Drew McIntyre rivalry. They can either have the feud play out until WrestleMania 41, with Drew defeating CM Punk handedly at SummerSlam to gain the upper hand. After months of keeping them apart, it's the perfect opportunity to possibly have CM Punk win the Royal Rumble and challenge McIntyre at WrestleMania 41, where he can get his revenge. Or they could take the safer route of ending the rivalry at SummerSlam, or maybe having a series of matches in the summer. It's a good way to make sure that the feud doesn't overstay its welcome and neither man will lose their momentum. Either way, it's going to be an extremely interesting period to be a Drew McIntyre and a CM Punk fan. With Punk gaining even more power.
And you could say, I liked his point too. Maybe if you don't want to start off with Hell in a Cell, maybe you just start off with a match. I would extend this. This is not a one match situation. So me personally, just being the the toxic individual, I love the toxicity that Hell in a Cell bring. I honestly would think I would want it first, but if anything, you can take your time, have a regular match. We know it's going to end in some bullshit, and you can have Drew win, then have another match, and you can have maybe CM Punk win, and then you can have that third rubber match, maybe be a Hell in a Cell, something later on down the line. Because I think this program, with them actually being able to wrestle, it can last at least 2 to 3 matches, and then you can have them go their separate ways. Like you said, you don't want them to overstay them welcome. You can have them possibly revisit it with, them both being in a Royal Rumble next year. So, but that's just a thought. You can definitely extend this to at least 2 to 3 matches.
Popularity after the release of the All-In Brawl footage between him and Jack Perry, he isn't going to have any trouble staying relevant in the months to follow. This feud has a lot of dollar bills printed on it, and we can't wait to see how it all plays out. Thank you.
This is great. I'm all for it. I am all for it. This is what I'm very interested to see. Clash at the Castle right around the corner. It's gonna be fun. I'm just wait. If they do go the route of Drew winning, no, my only thing is, unless they plan on keeping him as champion for the, whoever's facing Gunther, I just feel like they're losing. I just don't see Gunther losing. I don't. So that's why it's one of those things where it's like, I think it would make sense to have Damian Priest still hold the championship, because Damian Priest did at one point when Gunther was the champion, he did, kind of step up to Gunther. So they have a little bit of that history there, and you can set something up there. They've had their interaction where Gunther was like, you're not really much of a champion. You used the briefcase, but it's like, Damian Priest like, I don't give a fuck what you talking about. I want a Money in the Bank ladder match. So what I did only made sense, right? So they can set that up. And I think the story behind that is going to be more so Judgment Day issues rather than it just be Damian Priest losing for the sake of losing to Gunther. Is going to be that extra added caveat like, oh, damn, maybe Finn Balor cost him. Something to that extent. So they have a story right there that they can build upon. And obviously, CM Punk costing Drew at Clash of the Castle. That's poetic. And that's Drew's story. Always getting this close to the moment. But his obsession with CM Punk always cost him. So, comment down below. Let me know. Do you guys feel like this is potentially may end up being feud of the year? Because I think it's right up there, bro. Like, this may end up being feud of the year for WWE, because they're knocking it out the park. This is so good. So y'all let me know how y'all feel about the feud in its entirety. Appreciate all the love and support you guys showing on the channel. Road to 150K, and I'm still in speed of YouTube wrestling champion of the world. Appreciate y'all kicking it with me. See y'all next one. Peace.